What if I told you that one of the most iconic movie cars of all time almost wasn't a car at all? That's right. We're talking about the DeLorean from Back to the Future. It's hard to imagine Marty McFly hitting 88 miles per hour in anything else, but the original script had a very different and, frankly, much less cool idea. So grab your plutonium, set your flux capacitor, because we're going back in time to the earliest drafts of this cinematic masterpiece. When screenwriter Bob Gale and director Robert Zemeckis first started brainstorming, the Time Machine wasn't a sleek, gull-winged sports car. It was a refrigerator. Seriously. The idea was that Doc Brown had jury-rigged a lead-lined fridge in his lab to serve as a time travel chamber. Can you picture it? Marty McFly, instead of flooring it down a street, would have to cram himself into a cold, dark box. It just doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? The logic behind this stationary device was tied to the film's original climax. In this version, Marty wouldn't be racing to catch a lightning strike. Instead, he would have to haul this heavy, cumbersome time machine all the way out to a nuclear test site in the Nevada desert. The plan was to use the immense power of an atomic bomb detonation to send him back to 1985. The famous nuclear explosion scene that was originally planned for the ending would have been the power source. So, why the change? Well, the filmmakers realized a couple of very important things. First, the budget. Hauling a film crew and a giant prop refrigerator to the desert to simulate a nuclear explosion was going to be incredibly expensive. It was far more practical and cheaper to keep the action centered in the fictional town of Hill Valley. This decision led to the genius idea of using a lightning strike on the local clock tower, a landmark that was already central to the story. It was a perfect, elegant solution that tied everything together thematically and geographically. But there was another, even more important reason to scrap the refrigerator idea. The producer, a guy you might have heard of named Steven Spielberg, pointed out a major potential problem. He was concerned that after the movie came out, kids all across the country might start climbing into refrigerators and getting themselves trapped. It was a legitimate safety concern, and one that the creators took very seriously. The last thing they wanted was for their fun, adventure movie to accidentally lead to a real-life tragedy. So, the refrigerator was out. With the stationary chamber concept gone, they needed something mobile. The idea of a car was born. But what kind of car? They needed something that looked futuristic, something that would make people in 1955 believe it was a spaceship. They considered a Ford Mustang, but ultimately, they wanted something truly unique. Enter the DeLorean DMC-12. With its stainless steel body and distinctive gull-wing doors, it was the perfect choice. It looked like it had just landed from another planet, which was exactly the reaction they wanted from the 1950s characters. The DeLorean's design also solved a narrative problem. How do you explain why this random car can time travel? The answer was simple and brilliant. Doc Brown built it. By making the time machine a custom-built vehicle, it made perfect sense that it would have all sorts of weird gadgets, blinking lights, and of course, a flux capacitor. It wasn't just a car. It was Doc's personality made manifest in automotive form. It was chaotic, ingenious, and a little bit dangerous, just like him. The choice of a car also supercharged the film's action sequences. The entire climax hinges on mobility. The Great Scott moment when Doc realizes the lightning will strike, the desperate race against the clock, Marty shredding his guitar at the dance, and then flooring it down the main street. None of that would have been possible with a stationary box. The car made the story dynamic. It turned the act of time travel from a passive event, sitting in a chamber, into an active, thrilling chase. The need to reach 88 miles per hour added a built-in speedometer of suspense that has become legendary. It's a fascinating look into the creative process. A single decision, Changing the time machine from a refrigerator to a DeLorean had a ripple effect that transformed the entire movie. It saved the budget, prevented a potential safety hazard, created an iconic piece of movie history, and gave the film its signature high-speed energy. It proves that sometimes the best ideas aren't the first ones. It takes revision, collaboration, and a little bit of creative lightning to make movie magic. Imagine that alternate timeline for a second. A world where kids don't dream of owning a DeLorean, where the phrase 88 miles per hour has no special meaning. A world where the climax of Back to the Future involves Marty dragging a fridge through the desert. It's a much less exciting world, isn't it? We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the filmmakers for realizing that time travel is just so much cooler when it has wheels. It's a testament to their genius that they took a good idea and, through refinement, turned it into an unforgettable one. So, next time you watch Back to the Future and see that beautiful DeLorean screech around a corner, take a moment to appreciate that it wasn't the first choice. It was the right choice. It's the car that made history by traveling through it. What do you think? Would the movie have been as good with the refrigerator? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite films. See you in the next video!